Hi, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be doing a video on some new releases that you may have missed. So this is a little bit different because I've already filmed this. I talked about in a previous video that I had a bunch of videos that I pre-filmed and just never got around to uploading or editing, so now I'm doing that. So this video was originally filmed in August, and now I'm redoing the intro because the title really has changed. So I originally filmed this as my summer anticipated releases because when I was planning to release this video, it was still summer. Currently, it is the middle to end of October, so summer's long gone. So these are some new releases that came out over the past 3 months, July, August, and September. And I figured I would still post this video because the books still came out, the books still need support, and maybe you missed some of these, maybe you just wanted a reminder of some of the books that came out over the past couple of months. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the books. My whole image is going to change in 3, 2, 1. Up All Night, edited by Laura Silverman. This came out on July 13th and is a YA anthology with the theme being stories set at night and what teens are getting up to late in the night. Some highlighted authors that intrigued me for the short story collection were Tiffany D. Jackson, Nina LaCour, and Brandy Colbert. A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This came out on August 3rd. This follows Felicity Morrow, who returns to the Dalloway school after she takes a year off after the tragic death of her girlfriend. She even gets her old room back in Godwin House, an exclusive dormitory, rumored to be haunted by the spirits of 5 Dalloway girls. Girls who were rumored to be witches and all died mysteriously, one after another, right on Godwin grounds. Before her girlfriend died, Felicity was drawn to the dark, but now she's determined to leave all that behind. That is until a new girl approaches her for help researching the Dalloway 5 for her new novel. And Felicity feels like she can't say no, but then when history begins to repeat itself, Felicity will have to face the darkness in Dalloway and also in herself. So that sounds really good. I've seen this described as dark academia. This features a woman loving women main character, so I'm always down for that, and it just sounds really interesting. The Wild Ones by Nafiza Azad. This also comes out on August 3rd. This is just me reading the synopsis. Meet the Wild Ones, girls who have been hurt, abandoned, and betrayed all their lives. It all began with Paheli, who was once betrayed by her mother and sold to a man in exchange for a favor. When Paheli escapes, she runs headlong into a boy with stars in his eyes. This boy, as battered as she is, tosses Paheli a box of stars before disappearing. With the stars, Paheli gains access to the Between, a place of pure magic and mystery. Now Paheli collects girls like herself, and these wild ones use their magic to travel the world, helping the hopeless and saving others from the fates they suffered. Then Paheli and the wild ones learn that the boy who gave them the stars is no longer safe. He's on the run from powerful forces within the world of magic. But if he is no longer safe and free, neither are the wild ones. And that is a fate the wild ones refuse to accept ever again. So that synopsis really drew me in. I really like the idea of it. It's said to have some kind of magical realism, fabulism aspect. Obviously they're going into this world of magic, but the real world still exists, which I guess could just be fantasy. But yeah, it sounds really interesting. Look at the cover. It is so beautiful. I love the cover so much. Black Boy Joy, edited by Kwame Mabalia. This is a YA anthology featuring what the title says. It's a bunch of short stories about Black boys being happy. Notable authors are Tochi Onyebuchi, Jason Reynolds, and George M. Johnson. The Sisters of Reckoning by Charlotte Nicole Davis. This comes out on August 10th. This is a sequel to The Good Luck Girls, which I actually did a reading vlog for quite a while ago. I will link it down below though, because I still like it. This obviously takes place after the first book, and the first book follows 6 girls who were originally sold to work in a welcome house when they were kids. And when you go to work in a welcome house, you are branded. While they're children, they don't do that true work of the welcome house. They just kind of clean around the place and do like more child appropriate things, I guess. But when Clementine, one of the 6 girls, is expected to do her work as a good luck girl on her 16th birthday, something terrible happens, and it ends up that she and 5 of the other girls end up having to go on the run. And so they're on the run looking for freedom. I don't want to say it's a fun read because it does deal with a harrowing topic, but it's like a Western kind of thing where these basically cowgirls are just like robbing banks and like kind of getting their revenge on like men who've wronged them and things like that. So it is a fun read in that regard. So I'm looking forward to the second book. Redemptor by Jordan Afueco. I keep talking about this book. I was looking forward to it. It had to make this list. The first book, Ray Bear, was one of my favorite books of 2020. And now, hopefully this book will be one of my favorite books of 2021. We'll see. Yeah, I feel like I've talked about this so much. You don't need a synopsis of Ray Bear or anything. I can't give you a synopsis of this, obviously. But I'm anticipating it. So Many Beginnings by Bethany C. Morrow. I'm looking forward to this because it is a Little Women retelling with Black main characters. I believe like most of the things are the same, but obviously it will be changed because being a Black family during Civil War era will obviously be very different than being a white family. I'm looking forward to Bethany C. Morrow's take on that. I also do want to mention that I've learned that this is actually part of a series, sort of, where different authors are remixing different classics based on their own cultural background. So obviously this is Little Women with Black main characters because Bethany C. Morrow is Black. And then on the same day, actually, there's a different book called A Clash of Steel by C.B. Lee, where the main characters are all Chinese pirates, and that is a Treasure Island retelling / remix. So I wanted to point that out. There are, I think, 4 more books in the series according to Goodreads, but they're coming out later, obviously. I'm personally more excited for So Many Beginnings, which is why it's officially on this list, because I really do love Little Women, actually, even though I really don't mention it on my channel. I don't really mention any of the classics I like, except maybe you can see that edition of Pride and Prejudice in the background. The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. The synopsis for this was a little confusing for me. Don't do it. Excuse me. I've interrupted you for a little. Tucker. This is Tucker. He's so happy to be here, really. I mean it. He's happy. It's like, why am I here? Bye. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. The synopsis for this book was a little confusing to me because at some point a woman who appears to be alive invites everyone to her funeral. So I don't know what's happening there. This is said to have some magical realism and there's like some magic element going on here, but I will read you my interpretation of the synopsis. This follows the Montoyas, who have learned to never question why the pantry is never empty and why the matriarch of their family refuses to leave their home, until Orquídea Divina invites them to her funeral so that everyone can collect their inheritances. And all the members of her family are hoping to learn her secrets. Instead, Orquídea transforms, leaving them with more questions than answers. That also leaves me with some questions. Several years later, 4 of the girls in the family start manifesting, developing some of the gifts that Orquídea had, until someone starts killing people in their family one by one, and it's up to these 4 girls to go to Ecuador to learn Orquídea's secret. The Jasmine Project by Meredith Ireland. This just sounds really fun. This is described as Jenny Han meets the Bachelorette, which I am down for. That sounds very fun to me. And this follows a teen Korean-American adoptee whose family decides to turn her graduation party into an opportunity to have her meet Orlando's most eligible bachelors after her longtime boyfriend cheats on her. So it just seems like some good family hijinks, and I'm excited for that. Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Kurian. This follows Chloe, whose hobbies include yoga lattes, frat parties, and plotting to kill Will Backman, a childhood friend who grievously wronged her. She is also part of an unusual clinical study for diagnosed psychopaths. When one of the other students in the study is found murdered, Chloe becomes the prey as she races to find the killer and also put her own plan for revenge into action. White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is described as The Haunting of Hill House meets Get Out. I have watched neither of those things, but I do like Tiffany D. Jackson, and that's mostly why I'm here. This is about Marigold, who moves in with her newly blended family into a renovated picture-perfect home on Maple Street, which is sitting between dilapidated houses and seems to have its own secrets. And finally, the last book I want to talk to you all about is Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. This comes out on September 28th. I am going to read the synopsis to you all because I have not figured out a way to summarize this yet. There is no such thing as magic in the broken city of Lacosa. No one knows this better than 16-year-old Kofi, who holds a power within her that, if discovered, could cost her her life. Indentured to the notorious Night Zoo, Kofi knows the fearsome creatures in her care, and paying off her family's debts to secure their eventual freedom can be her only focus. But the night those she loves are gravely threatened by the zoo's cruel master, Kofi finally unleashes the power she doesn't fully understand, upending her life completely. As a second son of a decorated hero Ikon is all but destined to become a son of the Six, an elite warrior, and uphold a family legacy. But on the night of his final rite of passage, Ikon encounters not only the Shaitani, a vicious monster that has plagued the city for nearly a century and stalks his nightmares, but also Kofi, who seems to have the power to ward off the beast. Kofi's powers ultimately saves Ikon's life, but his choice to let her escape dooms his hopes of becoming a warrior. Desperate to redeem himself, Ikon vows to hunt the Shaitani and end its reign of terror, but he can't do it alone. Meanwhile, Kofi believes finding the Shaitani could also be the key to solving her own problems. Kofi and Ikon form a tentative alliance and together enter the Greater Jungle, a world steeped in wild, frightening magic and untold dangers. The hunt begins, but it quickly becomes unclear whether they are the hunters or the hunted. So that was a lot, I feel like, but it sounds really good to me. If you're looking for, it seems like it's going to be a pretty epic fantasy, and I'm down for that. So those are all the books that I wanted to talk to you all about in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. In the comments down below, leave me a star emoji, because, you know, new releases and stars, I don't know. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified, all the things YouTubers tell you to do. I will see you in my next video. Bye.